Hi, my name is Carrie Shelford. I get the privilege of teaching your kids civics this year. And as you can imagine, we have all sorts of stuff to talk about all the time. I am very blessed to be in here and be able to have the opportunity to talk to your students about these things that can be challenging and confusing. And we have a lot of fun in here. And my goal in here is for kids to walk out feeling more educated and have a better understanding of their nation as a whole, the government, how it functions, how it's designed to function, all of these things we talk about in class. So first of all, though, a little bit about me. I am a King's kid. I graduated in 1999. My husband and I both did, actually. Then I went to Wazoo for a year, and then I graduated with my history degree from Western and my master's in teaching from SPU. So I've made the rounds a little bit with the Washington schools. My husband played football at WSU. And so we are a Cougar family at home and have a lot of fun with that. This is my second time teaching here at King's. I taught about 10 years ago, and I taught speech and debate and journalism. And then I decided to do the mom thing. So I have three boys, 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old, my 11-year-old is not as much wanting to entertain everyone else, but my 8-year-old and my 4-year-old will make appearances from time to time when we have our remote days and entertain your students. Again, I feel very blessed to be here, and especially in the midst of everything that students are having to process and deal with right now in our country. I feel like it's nice to have somewhere to talk about it, and I emphasize from day one in here that the importance of respect is above all. I say we don't have to agree, but we have to respect one another. We have to consider each other's perspectives and backgrounds and where we come from and how we see things. And that's something we should strive to do in all aspects of our lives. And that's one thing I really talk about in here a lot. I use the example that, I don't always agree with my husband, but I love him and I respect him. And that's my expectation in here. And I will say I've been incredibly impressed thus far as to how students have handled themselves with that. We're in an election year and things can get heated and heightened, and I do my very, very best to just talk about things in a way to get kids to think for themselves. I want your students to be able to create their own opinions and decide on things for themselves, and never implement anything of me into their ideologies, but let them just consider what's going on and why do they think this way, or what do they think about this. And it's something I wish that I had when I was in high school. We didn't have civics here when I was in high school. So right now we're talking about the Constitution. We're talking about the 27 amendments. We dove in pretty deep in this. We already went over the background history of how our government began, right? We talked a little bit about the revolution and some of the ideological influences that our country has had, and our founding documents specifically. And from there on, we really talk about all the branches of government. I talk a lot about how they interact with one another. We talk about federalism. We talk about failures with federalism. We talk about all sorts of different things in here. I've had a lot of fun. I really enjoy teaching this class. So I'm excited to be able to have your students in here and have this be a forum where they feel like they can ask questions and they can talk about things without any fear of anything. In terms of homework in here, I do my best to give kids time when I can to do things during class time. There will be times when they have homework more than others. One thing they have every single week as homework is a current event. My intention here is that I want students to be able to know what's going on around them, to see and think about things outside of their own bubble that we all get stuck in sometimes. And the other thing I have them do with that is I ask them to identify media bias and think about how people's choices of words can cause bias in how it comes across, and what does that mean, and how does that affect the audience. And I think it's an important thing for kids to recognize that not everything is as straightforward as you think it is, and just start thinking more critically about any type of information that's presented to them. I think it's really important. If you have any other questions about anything we're doing in here, I still have our syllabus is still posted in your students' OneNote under the welcome file. You can look at that if you'd like to. You can email me with any questions you may have on content. I'm happy to go over anything with you. I also tell the kids if there's something they really want to make sure that we learn about, I am open to all possibilities. I have added units to the class when students show interest in something specific, and I am happy to do that because I want them to be able to have a say in what they're learning as well. In terms of OneNote and Teams and how I function with those, OneNote is my home base. I use that's where any documents will be found. That is where everything gets turned in. Teams are really utilized for meetings, and I use it on the assignment sheet or page for like on a reminder. Nothing gets turned in there. I think we've got that figured out for the most part with students. But that OneNote is that place that everything needs to be. Teams, I also utilize an attendance channel. So when students come to class, I always ask them to sign in there so that I don't have to spend 10 minutes doing attendance. This civics class is big, it's 28 kids. So it would take me a lot of time to try to go through everybody and make sure everybody's in there. This way I can go do it after the fact, and it's been working pretty well so far. So I did this last spring as well, and it's a way of saving some time. So I always remind kids, I always make sure that they aren't forgetting by the end of class to have done that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to talk and explain anything further. Anyway, thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.